Hello, this is my CS130 lecture class reflection video. And first things first, I want to say that this course was great since it was able to help me build on the previous knowledge I have learned back in high school. So this course was all about HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, which is mainly used to create online websites that are part of the World Wide Web, basically to create web pages. And in this course, we were also taught how to customize or make our websites more presentable or more attractive to our users, which was mainly done by CSS, cascading style sheets. As defined by Google, HTML is hypertext markup language, a standardized system for tagging text files to achieve font, color, graphic, and hyperlink effects on the World Wide Web pages. So CSS was mainly there to simplify work. Basically, CSS would allow you or the programmer to separate content from presentation, and it will also allow you to excuse me, set a layout for specific pages or for all the pages in your web page on your website. Sorry. So, in this course, I have also learned that there are a lot of standards to be followed when making your website. There are also tips to follow, like having having good navigation on your site, since it would enable your users to navigate through your site. Basically, would enable your users to transition from page to page without much hassle and confusion. There are also several tips in order to avoid information overflow or content overflow, like there should how many times the user should click in order to get to the information he or she wants, and in CSS, your colors shouldn't be too light, shouldn't be too dark. They they should blend in well with each other, like dark text on a white background or on a light background, or light text on a dark background. Another is there's this site which excuse me, sorry. There's a site which verifies if your website or your web page follows the standards set for today. There's a W3C, which checks if your website follows the HTML5 standards. Also, you can separate your site. You can separate content on your site by putting them in sections. Basically, putting the content in different sections would separate. Would divide your content. Like, this content only belongs in this section, and only this section can be modified in order to modify this content. Also, in CSS, there are several ways to customize your site when using CSS. You can either apply padding, margins. Padding is basically the space inside the element's border. Basically, each element has its own border, just like it's in its own container. And when you modify the padding's value, basically you're setting the space between the element and its border and its container. You're setting the space inside the container. And there's also margins. Margins are if you modify the value for the margins. Basically, the margin is the space. This is the amount of white space outside the content or the specific element. Basically, it's a space outside the container. So modifying the value for the margins would basically modify the amount of white space or the size of the white space outside the element's container. Also, there are also borders, which would modify the style of the element's container. Basically, this outside shape over here. There's this outside of the element's container, which you could modify by specifying the border height or border style. Also, talking about standards or tips in making a great site, you should not You should not put graphics. You should not put text as graphics, since if you do put text as graphics, they will not be searchable, and maybe your users would misinterpret this for, it's part of the content. It's not, it's not this. It's just not design. It's not simply design. Maybe they would misinterpret this for content, and that's kind of bad. Yeah.